hope you get picked. I hope you get picked.
Scott, pick me. I'll be a lot of fun.
Wait, pick him. He's not supposed to do that. I have to talk him up.
Go for it.
Amar is a hard worker. I've known him actually a long time, 9 years. He's partial genius, not as genius as Scott, but he's on his way.
You're barely, it's looking at your nipples.
Okay, not my nipples. Pick Amar. He's fun. He's going to have a good time. And he's one thing that's really important. He gives amazing testimonials. Probably better testimonials than anyone you've ever met. So if he goes to your event, you're going to walk away with a fantastic testimonial. That's my testimonial for Amar.
Also, we're already making $50K a month, and we're like poised to go from 50 to 150K. We're faster with your help, Scott.
He's totally underselling it. His business is just fantastic.
All right. We'll see you in Venice Beach in October. It's recording? Awesome. What's up, guys? We're recording a quick conversation here. Scott, if you actually decided to watch this YouTube video, since I am recording this to send to you quickly, Josh here is one of my good buddies. We've known each other for a couple of years now. I have given 2 talks here in Chiang Mai at the Nomad Coffee Club that both had a lot to do with sort of the content marketing and the SSF method. One of the talks was actually the SSF method. Both of those talks are available on my YouTube channel, and Josh just mentioned that he wanted to chat a little bit about his business and the SSF method. Scott is hosting people in Venice Beach in October, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be doing that. That's why I'm recording this video. So Scott, if you're watching this, pick me. I'll pay you a bunch of money.
Pick him.
And come join you in Venice Beach. We'll have a great time. So, yeah. Okay, cool. We have not actually talked about this at all. We just went and grabbed dinner. So Josh just dropped me a message earlier and just said that he wanted to talk about the SSF method a little bit and how it applies to his business. And that's really all that I know for context. So Josh, you want to just jump into it?
Yeah. So I'm a dating coach for men, and started early this year and looking at different traffic sources. Guys that have asked for help on Reddit, guys that are on Facebook, joining some of the Facebook groups. Some paid ads that I've been running, and different kind of testing different things, getting guys on the email list. And I kind of just did it kind of recklessly. I was just like, get on calls, and some were cold and some were warm and some were reaching out to me. And so as I've gotten on more calls and gotten my clients together and things moving a little bit, I want it more organized. I want a better plan. And I read about the SSF method before, learned a little bit, but I guess I don't know enough about it where I get the concepts, but I'm trying to figure out, okay, when I have a lead, how do I know where they're at? Do I use a survey? Is it a piece of content that I'm testing out of them, that they're reading, that they have feedback on? I went over the infographic today, so I saw like short content, long, and their engagement. But I guess what I'm saying is, how do I know where they're at? How do I test for that? Like, is it a survey? And then how do I walk them through the lanes?
How do you walk them through the lanes? So I like really the way that you're going to really evaluate where they are is where they've shown you that they are based on the actions that they've taken. So if you got this set up, well, I guess. I mean, there's obviously no like wrong way, but I mean, if you've got this set up well, then you should have an idea based on, so for example, if they're already willing to jump on a call with you, then they've got to be somewhere along the way in the process, right? That jumping on a call with you is likely going to be one of the last steps before they actually join, your paid membership, or they start working with you one-on-one as a coach, right? And so that would be something that a call would likely be one of your fast lane actions.
So the issue that I'm seeing though, and that's why I'm really not understanding the lanes necessarily, is because is it where they're at, or does it also apply to cold, warm traffic? Because a lot of these that'll come from my Facebook ads are totally cold, and they'll get on a call with me. But there's no trust built, there's no this or that.
So in that case, it sounds like you're missing the beginning of the funnel then, right? That you know, like if I was to jump on a call with Scott, for example, I would be very valuing like of that time because I've already gotten value from the free resources that he gives, the lead magnets, all of that. It's the same thing for me with ZenMaid, that I had a call today with a customer, and like we jump on the call and she's like, oh my God, I finally get to talk to the man. Like I've been waiting a year to do this, and it's because she follows, like she sees me on Facebook Live, she sees me all over the place, and it felt like we had talked to each other before, that we knew each other previously, right? And so what that really means is like, I mean, I'd be interested to see what the numbers are, but I would guess that people probably are not converting all that well if you're just sending them directly to a call. Or if you are, then that call that you're having with them is more of almost a sort of like a nurture point along in the funnel, right? And so that might be something that's worth doing in the short run.
Well, we were talking about things that don't scale, and I do think there's value there because I'm putting out content, I'm doing lots of that. But I don't know who's seeing it, I don't know if they're reading it, and if they're willing to already get on a call with me, I can use that as an intro nurture, like so don't sell them on the call. Just
if they have already opted into a call with you, then they're already on your email list, right? Because,
yeah, of course, yeah.
So then are you using that to nurture them? The other thing that you can do here is you could have them just straight up register for a call, but maybe 2 of your reminder emails to them about the call include a free resource that allows them to get to know you better, that you ask them to read or to review or to watch this video before jumping on the call. And that might be a good way to sort of move them along, right? Because, you know, what's talked about in the SSF method is it's also about their mindset. And so if you think about what can you do to prime them better before jumping on that call with you, that might be what you put into your email sequence ahead of the calls, right?
Yeah, I do some of that, and I could do a free resource like that, but I'm even getting guys on the call that are just like, I didn't even watch the webinar, I just booked the call, and I'm finding out some good reasons why they do that. But at the same point, I'd be kind of guessing at the resource. I like the idea of just get on the call, nurture, don't sell.
You're never going to know.
Do that.
This is something I think you struggle with, right? Like you're never going to know. Just try something, right? Yeah. Chances are if you're not priming them at all, knowing what the right thing is, you never know, right? Like I wasn't aware when I started ZenMaid what the best lead magnet was going to be for us. We had to try different things, right? But I think it's also important that you don't have to solve this perfectly. If most people watch the webinar and then sign up for the call, don't focus on the people that don't watch it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like Courtney, for example, for ZenMaid, she does webinar demos with people where it's anywhere from 1 to 5 people that are on a call with her. And what we had to put in place was at the beginning of the call, if she has 5 people, she'll say, you know, okay, who watched the demo? You know, like, did anyone not watch the demo? And if they didn't watch the demo, what she says is like, hey, you're welcome to stay on the call, but we can't answer any of like your questions because like that's required so that everyone else on the call that's already been through those basics gets the most like value now. Because we were running into a problem where she had someone that was asking, well, how do I add a customer? When there were 3 other people that had watched the demo, had used the trial, and now we're jumping on to really go deep into their business.
Yeah.
Right? And so that.
But again, you're doing that as a group thing. If you're doing it one-on-one, things that don't scale, does that? Wouldn't you just let that person be on the call? Like, again, we're talking just.
I mean, I would say you want to be screening for them, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that someone that can't take the time to watch like a 5 or 10 minute YouTube video that you send them ahead of the call is going to make a good client? Right? That could be part of the screening process, right?
Yeah, sometimes I will, sometimes I don't. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
If you give them instructions of like, hey, you want to jump on a call with my time that clearly you value, and they don't value it enough to watch like a 10-minute YouTube video, that could be... Right, I mean, but here's the thing, is like, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? That doesn't matter. You can tell them to watch it, and if they don't, then take the call with them anyways,
and
right?
I mean, I think that's what I deal with too, is like, people like focus on one thing, but then you're saying test so much of different things. So I'm doing that in a lot of ways. They're like my email list, I'll test this or test that and not really think about it and see what's working. So I'm doing the testing.
Well, but I think it's just about how granular you go, because nothing is going to be that black and white. It's you should be focused on one thing, and that one thing is really the product and the service that you're offering. To me, your actual focus is the paid membership and the coaching, and then you're testing a bunch of things to figure out what works to actually like sell those products, right? Like, you know, there's a balance there, right? So like no one's saying you should just know what to do and just go do it, right? That's not possible. So, but what I like about the SSF method is that you can, if you're looking to sort of attract people, right, that you're just trying to get more people to know your name and potentially enter your funnel and come work with you, then you can take a very high level approach that you can really just do any sort of content that's geared towards men. And, you know, you could be writing guest blog posts in Men's Health, for example, and that could be helping you to actually build, like, your audience. And so that would be sidewalk. That would be people that, you know, they don't know that they need any help, right? They're part of your target audience, but they don't realize they even have a problem yet, right? And then you can get into more, like, dating advice where you go on to probably Men's Health dating section or whatever, I'm sure, right? And then like posting there, and that would be more like slow lane type stuff. And then fast lane is when the person has already raised their hand and been like, I want to talk to you about dating, right? But I think one of the big things is like, you don't, like, not everyone has to go through that. Some people come to you already in the fast lane. Some people come to you just ready to buy, like, right now. And so, you know, you don't have to put people through that, right? If someone's ready to jump on a call with you and is already sold on what you do, you don't need to go out of your way to get them a lead magnet or whatever. But if you're getting people that are jumping onto calls with you where you're thinking they're ready to go, but they're not feeling the same way, then chances are it's because, you know, you gave them a fast lane option that they decided to take, but the truth is they needed more of like a slow lane type lead magnet or tripwire or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I don't mind nurturing them in that way too. I mean, like you said, like you can get them cold and warm them up too. So like if they are ready to get a call, there's ways to warm them up more quickly, right? If they're that ready to get on the call, that means that probably they're ready to jump lanes. They're not in the fast lane yet, but they're eyeing it.
Yes.
Right? They're like, okay, I see it. I can see the fast lane. How do I get there? I don't trust this guy. Well, like, I don't know anything about the program. I don't know what's possible. I don't know the solution out there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Just one thing is obviously they're not aware of this, right? That to
oh,
them
of course
is
they're not. I'm just saying, like, where I'm looking at them is they're on the sidewalk and they're like, oh, I see the race cars. Like, they're leaning over the fence. They're like, I see it. How do I get there? Because there's all these scammers that are trying to scam me out of my money. I don't know what the solution is. I kind of understand my problem, but I don't know. I'm just like, they've got to be a problem where they probably, and I encountered this, there's a problem where they really want a solution badly. They have no idea what it is. They don't know who to talk to. They don't trust anyone. They're embarrassed to get a coach. They don't want to deal with it. Yeah. So they're very closed, but they want the solution badly. They just have no idea what it looks like.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I think some of it's, I've done, the more phone calls I do, the more I understand the objections, the more I understand where they're at, the more I understand why they're on the sidewalk. Yes. Or like slow lane, I guess. Yeah. Because I have a lot on the slow lane. It's hard to not know you have a problem with dating. Yeah. Like, there's the sidewalk, is more like, I think it's more like hasn't admitted to themselves they have a problem. They're aware. They're just like, because a lot of times that's the sidewalks they're my best clients because they're not desperate yet. They're like, I got a problem, and they're like, I think I need to solve this. Like, this kind of sucks. Yeah. And they're just starting that process of super frustration because once they've dug their heels in, they go down a rabbit hole that I can't pull them out of bitterness, anger, frustration, super low self-esteem. Maybe I can find a way, but right now I'm not. I'd say I'm definitely an expert on it, but I'm not good enough coach to pull them out of these depths that are, a lot of times therapy related, depression, things like that. I have a medical background, and I just don't feel comfortable being a therapist for someone who's depressed. Yeah. Right. So I'm like scaling back because, like, okay, some of these guys don't need help, or they're like, oh, I'll spend $20 on this thing, but I'm not spending money to blah blah blah, and they don't feel the pain enough, and so it's like this middle ground where he just now hits this point of like, this sucks. I gotta fix this. Like that moment, because once they've passed that and have tried a bunch of stuff and it doesn't work, they start sliding down this like, I'm not good looking. Doesn't matter what I do, nothing will work, or I've been scammed. And so it's like before they hit down that slide, I gotta catch them, but finding them, because then I encounter a lot of guys. I'm like, you're gonna crush it with me. You work with me, you're absolutely gonna crush it. And they're like, yeah, but I get a few girls. I just can't get the ones I want, or I want super hot girls, and a few girls like me. It's not, I'll pay you $20 to help me out. I'm like, all right, dude.
So
are you worth it to you?
Are you doing the whole like? Well, I mean, I don't know. You've done a lot of sales. I'm guessing you're already on top of this. But I mean, are you really like emphasizing like the pain to them of just like asking them questions of like so they answer their way through it of like, all right, so like, what's going to happen if in 10 years you're still like not able to attract, like if they see the really hot girls, you don't see really hot girls, it's like what's going to happen in 10 years if you're still not able to attract the women that you really want in life? Like what does your life look like compared to if you could?
Yeah, we do all that.
Okay.
We do all that, and I mean some of it was like starting a business from nothing, and you feel the pressure of closing the early sales.
Yeah.
Right. So I definitely was a part of that, where I was like having a sales call. It wasn't like just I was pitching too much. Let's say. So I'm definitely scaling back on that, and I do think that was part of the problem. But yeah, it's hard to figure out the objections. A lot of times they won't tell me, so it's definitely a trust issue that I got to build up more with them. But we get into that. I help them, teach them, and then So a lot of them, they either don't want to spend the money or this or that, or they're embarrassed. That's a big one. They're embarrassed to hire someone. So that's why I'm going to put a lot more content out about that.
Okay, so that's perfect. Yeah, if I could make a suggestion there, it would be to focus your content on trust and like embarrassment. I think that's really the thing, is that if people believe, because my opinion is I think that a lot of guys actually think that, the coaches are sort of a dime a dozen, and that if they want help, then like I don't think too many guys are actually all that concerned about like getting scammed. I think it's more about trying to figure out who's like the right option. And it sounds like if you have someone, your best student is going to be someone that just believes in like, dating coaches like in general and thinks that you're the right one to help them. I don't think you're going to have a good time with people that think that dating coaches or relationship coaches don't actually have an impact, but they've decided to work with you, right? And so I think that if you focus a lot on coming across from like building trust and being that guy that is like, hey, like it's okay to feel embarrassed, or however you want to go about doing that, right? Because that may not be the way to do it, but I think if you focus on that earlier on in the funnel, I think you'll have a much easier time closing these guys when you jump on calls with them.
Yeah, because I think there's a third option you left out. So there's the guys that don't think dating coaches work. You're right. What's the point of trying to convince them? Because they're not going to do the work anyways. They'll just complain or whatever, talk about good-looking guys that they can't compete with. The ones that think it work, but trying to find the right one, and those will convert, and I'm not as concerned with that. I know my expertise, I know how to compare. You pick a coach based on the personality, if it gels with you, things like that. I'm not concerned with that. I put out my personality, that's who I am, that's how I teach, and whoever identifies with that's gonna come along with me. You can't be 10 different people. You're one person, you're your personality, and some people click with you, some people won't. So I'm not, I'm happy with that. I have enough people that click with me. The big contingent is the one that think dating coaches might work. Obviously, they don't know for sure. They're not opposed to it. But the society tells them they shouldn't need help with this issue. They have to figure it out on their own. So that's the one I think I need to put a lot more content out, because I have tons of content coming out on my expertise, my positioning. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not an asshole about. I'm stubborn about my opinions, but I'm not egotistical about myself and my coaching. I don't do a lot of shows. I don't post pictures of girls. A little bit limited, but I'm not a show off. I'm not a party animal. I'm not one of those kind of coaches. So I maintain a well-balanced kind of view, which I'm happy with. So I can position well as an expert. I know this stuff really well. I'm not worried about that, but I think I do need a lot more content on the objection side of why, breaking down the barriers to getting a coach for dating. Because if I had I think it'd be much easier to convert if I had guys coming on saying, I need a dating coach, I'm ready to go, are you the right guy for me?
Yeah.
Because that's so much easier.
Have you written an article on how to pick the right dating coach for you?
No, and that's I think that's where I need to go.
That's an obvious one, right? Like, write that article, and then write an article on why every single guy should have a dating coach, right? Exactly. Or even you can even take it the opposite way. You can go like, like, here's a list of the kinds of single guys that shouldn't have a dating coach, and you could do like process of elimination there, right? Well, you know, I'm not saying that that content is going to work. I think that you've got to create a lot of content to figure out sort of what hits and what you personally communicate well. But you can already see, like, if those are the objections that you're trying to get over, then create a little bit of content around that specifically, and then see if you can use that in your funnel, and if it helps, and if it doesn't, try something else. You know?
So would that be considered sidewalk content? Or slow lane?
I would consider that slow lane, because if they're reading that, I mean slow lane or even fast lane, right? Because if they're reading that, they already know that they have a problem, and you'll probably get a lot of people that are reading that when they're like pretty much ready to pull the trigger but haven't yet. So like it probably could be slow lane or fast lane depending, but I mean definitely not sidewalk, right? Yeah. Like they know the pain.
So then the real question becomes, and this is with anything, I think I do have a traffic problem. I'm trying to generate more traffic. I'm trying to build a Facebook group. I'm reaching out. I'm doing lots of different things. So where am I displaying this content? How am I drawing people into it? What's my traffic sources for this content, etc.
Okay, so like one of the things that I would do is retarget, right? The retargeting is very, very inexpensive, and so that's something that like Scott Oldford really specializes in. Is he's good at taking an audience of 500 ultra targeted people and making like good like getting good results out of those 500, right? And I've taken that very much to heart, that like we will run ads for ZenMaid to like the smallest amount of people possible and write ultra specific ads that'll work well, right?
Okay, so let's take this, because again, I mean, I don't have a huge ad budget, but I'd be open to adding another ad. So I have one ad that's I'm happy with, that's working right now, at least getting me leads, whether I convert them.
Okay, hang on. So I can already tell you, like, just from even like what you said, like right there. So like, who's the ad for? What's the ad saying? Is it a slow lane ad? Is it a fast lane ad? Like, there's no such thing as just like an ad that's working well.
Well,
like,
no, I mean, I'm getting.
Who are you targeting? Is it cold
traffic? So it's
traffic?
it's cold traffic, but it's so it's probably too fast lanes. But you know.
No, if it's cold traffic, then it's not going to be fast lane. It's not likely to be fast lane. Fast lane should be someone that's already familiar with you and your brand.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So it's slow lane that wants to be fast. I guess they're looking for. So
tell me what is it? What is it?
So it's basically calling out. I don't know. I somehow got past the Facebook filters, but it's calling out guys that are having a lot of trouble with dating. I talk about that don't want to do manipulative pickup artist junk, and they want a solution. I've been doing this a while. I have this experience. I have a free masterclass, tells you the 5 shifts you need to make to have success.
Okay, so it's a webinar.
It's a short webinar VSL kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, what you could do is, if you're running that to cold traffic, what you could do is everyone that visits that webinar page, or just visits your website in general, right? Anywhere on the website, you can now retarget with maybe some of the content that we were just talking about why a dating coach is necessary for every single guy, or who shouldn't. I think it's been almost 20 minutes, Fran. Is it, or can I just keep recording now?
30.
What? 30? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can do is anyone, so that's awesome if that's already working well for you. A lot of times cold traffic is the most difficult. For ZenMaid, that's been the most difficult for us to nail down. The retargeting is actually quite easy, but anyone that hits your website, anyone that hits that webinar page, you can retarget with some of the content that we were just talking about. Or if they've hit those pages, they're probably more likely to sign up for a call with you now. And the whole thing is that you probably don't get that much traffic right now. And that sounds like a bad thing, but it's really good in this case, because there's a good chance that you can run Facebook ads for very cheap and stay top of mind with these guys until they're ready.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I think that's ZenMaid's superpower, is that if someone visits the ZenMaid website, Fran complained about this when we first started dating, that everywhere she looked, she would see ZenMaid ads. It's omnipresence.
So it sounds like the omnipresence could work on a very small scale, essentially.
No, it'll scale with you.
No, I'm saying is it's effective to implement when you're small.
Mm. Yeah. If anything, it's more. It's more because, I mean, you can be so unbelievably targeted with your ads. right?
I think that's something I'm figuring out. I think I did okay with my first ad, but yeah, I haven't even looked into retargeting yet. So
yeah, and retargeting is typically where the easy money is, because
yeah,
you're already
of
doing the work generating the leads. Closing them can usually make a bigger impact to the bottom line to someone that hasn't focused on it, like, than anything else.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely I've planned it out, but again, at my stage, I don't want to be running in all different directions, so it's definitely figuring out like that. Yeah.
You can set it and forget it.
No, I get that. I assume, but we've talked about this. Is like, okay, this channel I said forget, I move on to this channel, so that was good. But I still feel a little scattered and saying, like, when I sit down to work every day, I'm still in testing mode, but I'm like, should I just do this thing, or am I off and like my chicken with my head cut off? Like, am I focused? Am I not? You know. So it's like yeah, I think it's good, but it's some days I'm off. You know, it's just kind of like I'm testing to see what's working.
Well, it worked for me. I mean, obviously, like, I'm a little bit ahead with ZenMaid and everything, but for me, it really came down to consistency. That's really what it was for me. I didn't bother worrying about what was the right thing to do or whether I was focused. I just focused on taking action, and just knew if I continued to take action, then eventually things would catch, you know.
And that's kind of what I'm doing.
It
just feels slower than it should, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll just take one thing to click and it'll start moving. So and I definitely think there's a part of it's the pressure of closing one business and having nothing and starting a new business.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so there's definitely too much pressure on getting the clients instead of just building the relationships. So I've scaled back on that. And I did have a nice intro call with a business coach that gave me some clarity on that I had swung too far in the other direction. Like, I was super helpful in this niche and helping these guys, and then when I tried to make it a business, I swung too far into, like, I'm a businessman type guy. So I didn't find that middle ground, because I was like running away from all this free stuff that I did for years with no money. I just gave away everything for free.
But I mean, like, look at how big of an audience you built.
Oh, it was great back then, and that was like 7 years ago. Yeah.
Well, the digital?
No. I'm talking about when I coached in 2012.
Oh,
it was like 20, 30 guys.
Yeah.
Right? They all loved me, but it was a small audience. I didn't do it online, and now they're gone. They're doing whatever their own thing, which is cool. But at that time, I was like, this is awesome. They love me. Everything. Everybody trusts me. They're listening to me, whatever. But they weren't paying me anything. And so when I started doing that, I was like, had this aversion to helping for free.
Yeah. It's a difficult balance.
Right? It's like, well, I'm not getting paid for this. If I just do this, they're not going to pay me. So, like, what do I do? And then when I start charging, I put up this wall, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, but now they won't pay me because I'm pressuring too much for them to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
No, it's definitely a big... it's definitely a big thing to... I mean, it goes in waves. I think that's the best way to describe it, right? Is there are times that I've been very, very protective of my time, whereas now it's like, we're recording this like for content, and I'm trying to do this more with ZenMaid customers, that I'm more willing than ever to just jump on like a free call with someone and just, create content out of it and to work with it. But it's definitely a difficult balance, right?
But I think you're finding a way, and this is too, like, swinging back is like you're saying, okay, I'm going to give my time, but I'm going to have content. Yeah. So you're actually not giving your time because you're repurposing so much of it. So you're gaining that time back, right? Essentially, because if you would be, well, I mean, you need a lot of content for your company, and you either create it or yourself, which takes time. You pay someone, which is time in the form of dollars, or you do it on a call, and you're getting the content anyway. So I don't see that if you're doing an hour of content with a customer on the phone, and that's what I'm doing with my reviews now. I'm doing Tinder reviews in my group. And so even if no one watches, I repurpose that everywhere. It's like a client call because they're on with me. So I'm doing the audit review for them, and everyone can see it, can reuse the content, even if no one watched my live stream. That's
exactly.
Nobody freaking watched it. I didn't care. I put it up on my wall. I can throw it in emails.
That's a really good way to look at it. Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it. That you can repurpose that content. We just figured out today how to live stream Zoom calls to Facebook, that we couldn't find it in the settings or whatever, it's such a headache.
Well, Facebook changed their live thing, so I can't pull anyone on the screen on desktop and then do screen share to like show the pictures. I'm like, I have to restart. I do a second live stream. It's freaking because I can't figure out how to do both, and I want to do it on desktop. And they can't invite anyone on desktop.
Yeah, exactly.
To freaking join you.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It used to be a thing. I'm like, and I don't want to use Be Live, and Be Live is all. I don't want to pay 40. I don't know. It's just like a mess figuring that out. I just wish. I don't know. I wish Facebook would just put Be Live out of business and just add all the features.
Yeah.
It's really no reason to have Be Live.
I don't
whatever, Zoom or whatever. You don't need it.
Use Zoom, yeah.
Facebook could easily
do
have
that,
functionality, easily.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so unnecessary to not have. And they put little, change fonts.
Yeah.
Stop changing fonts and add functionality.
One thing that I had forgotten about is one thing you could do is you could try to jump on calls with some of these guys and record them going over some of the objections or whatever. That might be a helpful one for you to have on video, right? Of like, you know, like you're just recording more of those calls, you know?
Oh yeah. Wait, for myself or for the?
Well, for just some of the objection handling for
me to review or content. Right?
Content, right?
So that's the thing. A lot of these guys don't want to be on. They don't want it. They don't want voices. They don't want anyone to know them. Just anonymity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
that makes sense. Like that's what I was telling you before, right? Is, you know, charge like value your services, but give them, you know, 100% off if they allow you to record it.
Oh
right?
yeah,
like stuff like that.
I get
right?
5K off on my 50K program if they'll let me film it.
Yeah, how'd that work for you, that 50K offer?
Oh, it was awesome.
I mean, it got some attention, right?
Oh, well, it got a lot of attention, but I had so many people messaging me, like, that's crazy. I can't believe that you offered that. Like, they all bought, they thought it was real. I was like, how is anyone going to actually believe this is real? Yeah. And people are messaging me like, this is crazy, you have this offer, like, is that real? I was like, yeah.
I'm thinking about doing that for ZenMate. I'm thinking about putting that out there.
I thought it was going to look goofy, but everyone bought it. Everyone thought it was real.
I could see doing that for ZenMate. I could see going for 50K. Courtney and I will personally fly to your office for a day and just putting it out there. I got
so many messages on it. It was so crazy.
I'll talk to Courtney about that on our exec call.
It's just positioning. No one needs to ever buy it.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
And I thought it was kind of ridiculous, but I made it of flying out there. I think you can't charge $1 million. You can't charge 300K. You have to make it within. Someone has to believe that someone would ever do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then you frame it like that. I just said, 2 people for the rest of 2019.
Yeah, exactly.
I made it no one would buy this thing, but one person, Crazy Mike. Yeah, so I made it just believable enough. 50K.
Yeah.
Believable just enough that one person in the world might buy it.
I could see, I think for me and Courtney, it might be 20K.
Whatever, 25, whatever. You just sit down and just say whatever the number you think one single person ever would actually pay for it.
Yeah.
If you found this random crazy person that wanted to do it, 25K, 30K, whatever that is.
Oil money. So you're looking for a prince from Dubai that just wants to be able to pick up chicks in a random bar when no one knows who he is.
Yeah, 50K, right? Exactly. Think about it. That's actually realistic. He's driving 3 cars. He can't get laid. That's pretty realistic. It's not out of the realm to think of. Right? Or he's some rich kids, especially he's a son of an oil baron. He doesn't care about money.
Yeah, true.
Write me a check.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that ever happened either, right? So, and then I gotta go do it. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you want to cut it here? You got anything else?
Yeah, I think that's it, man.
All right. Hang on.
I hope you get picked.
Scott, pick me. I'll be a lot of fun.
Wait, pick him. He's not supposed to do that. I have to talk him up.
Go for it.
Amar is a hard worker. I've known him actually a long time, 9 years. He's partial genius, not as genius as Scott, but he's on his way.
You're barely. It's looking at your nipples.
Okay, not my nipples. Pick Amar. He's fun. He's gonna have a good time, and he's one thing that's really important. He gives amazing testimonials, probably better testimonials than anyone you've ever met. So if he goes to your event, you're gonna walk away with a fantastic testimonial. That's my testimonial for Amar.
Also, we're already making 50K a month, and we're poised to go from 50 to 150K. We're faster with your help, Scott.
He's totally underselling it. His business is just fantastic.
All right. We'll see you in Venice Beach in October. Fran, help me turn this off.
I didn't even know it was still filming.
Fran?
You cut it.
Francis?
Yeah, press the red button.
The red button? I'm getting colorblind. Hang on. Ah, there it is.